So welcome to Kindle MMA's full card prediction and breakdown for UFC Fight Night Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Shamil Gaziev. This is the best card I've ever seen in my entire life. This is a top tier A+ level card. The main event, I can't even believe they put that together. They got Shamil Gaziev, who only has one fight in the UFC, as a main event. Oh my God. I just can't believe it, but you know what? I'm done trolling. This is a not a super high level card in terms of name value, let's be honest here, but let's not waste any more time, bro. Let's dive right into these full card predictions. Starting off with the prelim opener, we have Loik Radzhabov versus Abdul Kareem Al-Selwady. Now, I'm taking Al-Selwady here. He beat George Hardwick. George Hardwick is a very, very good name outside of the UFC. Hardwick is actually, he should be in the UFC, if I'm being honest with you. And pretty much Al-Selwady sat there and outpointed him throughout 3 rounds. He has real talent. Beating George Hardwick again is a very, very good win to have on your resume. And Loik Radzhabov, like, he's not bad. He's not fighting bad competition in the UFC either, but he's not really anything special. Like, I don't find him extremely dangerous or extremely, problems for Al-Selwady, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think he has anything in his toolbox that puts him like on this next level that could beat a guy like Al-Selwady. Just overall, to me, Radzhabov just is a mid-level fighter at best, while Al-Selwady has some potential to somewhere make it down the line to the top 20, top 30 at lightweight. I like Al-Selwady's footwork. I like his lateral movement. I like his hands. I like his boxing. I think he's very technical. I think he's very good. I think he should have an easy time dispatching Loik Radzhabov on the feet. He can also grapple. I think he took down Hardwick a few times, so Al-Selwady should get this one done for Palestine, I guess. But we move on to Ludovit Klein versus AJ Cunningham. Now, I'm looking at AJ Cunningham's record. This dude is fighting scrubs, and whenever I see a fighter fighting people who are not good, and when they're coming off a win from a guy who was 8-10 on his resume, there isn't a reason why I should pick you. When you're fighting guys who are 8-10 to get into the UFC, there's issue. And before that, he lost in the Contender Series to Stephen Wynn, 8-1 guy, I guess pretty decent, lost by KO. I mean, I don't know, man. He's fighting guys who are 6-4, 6-4 again, 5-2. Like, he's not fighting the best competition. I don't like AJ Cunningham. And Ludovit Klein has proven to be a UFC level fighter. Beating Ignacio Bahamondes is a good win. Beating Mason Jones is a decent win. He's not in the UFC anymore, but I think he's still a decent fighter. Like, at the very least, Ludovit Klein is a somewhat average level lightweight in the UFC. And I think at one point in Ludovit Klein's career, I think he was on a 3-fight winning streak just by head kick knockout in the first round. Like, he had some real KO potential. So I think he will KO AJ Cunningham here, who is fighting scrubs and has a 1.5 reach disadvantage as well. But we go up the card to this fight being Christian Leroy Duncan, CLD himself, versus Claudio Ribeiro. Now, CLD can be hittable at times, but I don't really see him getting tagged too much by Claudio Ribeiro, who seems a bit more flat-footed. So I think CLD's movement will be very key here. His footwork will play a big part or a big role in his win versus Claudio Ribeiro. And I think CLD coming off a win 3 months ago against Dennis Tulin, I think that puts him in a good spot to probably KO Ribeiro here. Ribeiro isn't bad by any means, but again, lost to Roman Kopylov by head kick, lost to Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I think that CLD is somewhat relative to those fighters. I think he is a bad stylistic matchup for Claudio Ribeiro, a guy who has really good footwork and will spam head kicks and just kicks in general. And in hindsight, maybe CLD losing to Petrosian isn't that bad, but Petrosian can't grapple whatsoever, so maybe CLD should have shot a fucking takedown in that matchup. I don't know. But I'm taking CLD. I think he'll find his way to KO Ribeiro probably in the first round by head kick or maybe some sort of body kick. I don't know. There's some sort of kick that CLD can throw that will probably put out Claudio Ribeiro. Moving on up the card, we have Javid Basharat versus Aimann Zahabi. I'm taking Javid Basharat here. Basharat is just a borderline ranked fighter at bantamweight here. I mean, like, he had a draw against Victor Henry, and Victor Henry is decent, but in that scrap before the groin strike, he was almost, I mean, kind of close. Like, it was a close fight between him and Victor Henry. Like, it was, I would say, even on the feet maybe, but like, that's impressive if you're fighting Victor Henry, who is very good on the feet. Like, I believe that Basharat is just a good fighter. Now, can he get, I guess, fraud checked? Can he, be exposed for being a little bit overrated, maybe. I think so, but I don't think Aimann Zahabi is that guy that's going to expose Javid Basharat for being less than good, I guess. I don't know the word to say. Like when I compare the recent opponents, like Basharat's fighting Victor Henry. He's fighting Mateus Mendoza, who actually just lost. He's fighting Tony Gravely, who is pretty decent. He's fighting Trevin Jones, who is not that good. Maybe I'm lying to myself. I don't know. But then again, Zahabi's fighting Aori Chilang. He's fighting Ricky Tercios, who didn't do anything in their matchup besides sit there and scream at him for 3 rounds. He fought Draco Rodriguez. I mean, like, he's not really fighting crazy competition. He's also 36 years of age. Like, he's getting old at bantamweight. Like, I don't know if Zahabi is going to be technically better than Basharat, honestly. I think Basharat should get this one done, probably by decision. But moving on up the card, we have Vinicius Oliveira versus Bernardo Sopaj. Fuck, when did this fight get made? This fight was made 3 days ago. I completely forgot about it, but let's just go through their wins, man. Let's just go through their wins. We'll just do a quick little resume check, I guess. So Vinicius Oliveira has fought Victor Madrigal, beat him in the Contender Series by left hook, 13-3 guy. He beat Hikaru Yoshino, 12-2 guy, beat him by KO, lost to Ali Taleb, 6-0 guy. Now, it just seems like he can be explosive very early, whereas Bernardo Sopaj is kind of the exact same. They're both getting first-round finishes. Now, Sopaj is listed at 5'6". I'm curious to know what his reach is. They don't have his reach listed on Topology, so I don't know what kind of disadvantage or even advantage that he might have over Oliveira, but Oliveira has a 70.5-inch reach, which is pretty decent for being 5'9". So in my very educated opinion, I'm going to take Vinicius Oliveira here because I think that it's going to be probably a battle between two guys who are very powerful in the first round and maybe in the later rounds. And Sopaj, being 23 years of age, he might be a little bit more keen to make mistakes in the octagon. He does have 13 fights on his resume here, but that's compared to Oliveira's 22. So I think if anybody's going to make a mistake based on experience, it might be Bernardo Sopaj here because of his age. So I might just take Oliveira here by a quick TKO, maybe submission. Who knows? This fight just got made. They're both on short notice. Let's move on to Eryk Anders versus Jamie Pickett. Like, I don't even know why Pickett's even in the UFC. He's like 2-5 maybe in the UFC. Like, he beat Joseph Holmes. Great job. He beat Loriano Strapoli, who is a welterweight who got cut, I think, shortly after that. So there's really no reason for Pickett to be in the UFC. I think the only reason they're giving him another chance is the fact that he fought Bo Nickal and got groin shotted by him and then finished. So I think they're being nice to him. But Eryk Anders is an old man now, but I think he's decent enough to beat Jamie Pickett, who is not that good. Now, Pickett does have a 5-inch reach advantage over Eryk Anders, so that might be an issue, but Pickett's just he's just not good, bro. Let's just get through it, I guess. I don't know. Moving on up the card, we have Matt Schnell versus Steve Erceg. So Matt Schnell has one really big issue at flyweight, and that is his chin. And if your chin is bad at flyweight, you're bad. Like, you're in heavy issues. Now, Steve Erceg is pretty decent. Like, he beat David Dvorak. He beat Alessandro Costa. Like, he's a decent level fighter, man. Like, he can be I think he already is a ranked flyweight, my bad. But I believe he can be somewhere near the top of flyweight. Now, will he reach that? I don't know, but he is, I think, a good flyweight level fighter. And I think Matt Schnell has a really big chin problem. And let's be honest here, that fight between Matt Schnell and Suma Dwergi, he basically got KO'd like 5 times in succession, just somehow survived, and then came back and won with the triangle. Like, Matt Schnell realistically should be on a 3-fight losing streak, but he's not. I'm just really worried about his chin. He might get finished here, but does Steve Erceg have the power to put out Matt Schnell? Probably not. But then again, Matt Schnell, he just seems very stiff on the feet, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't like the way he fights right now. And when you're fighting Steve Erceg, who is 28 years old, versus Matt Schnell's 34, I just think that Steve Erceg will be hungrier. I think he's better than Matt Schnell already. I think he can probably tag or hurt Matt Schnell at some point. Now, can he finish him? I don't think so. That's why I'm taking Steve Erceg by decision. But Matt Schnell right now just doesn't really impress me anymore. I'm taking Steve Erceg by decision here. So we move on up the card to Umar Nurmagomedov versus Bekzat Almakhan. Now, I don't know why Umar Nurmagomedov is a minus 1400 favorite, because this guy, Bekzat, is actually pretty decent. Like, he is 16-1. He's fighting good opponents, finishing them all, besides maybe one in his last 5. Like, he's actually a decent level fighter here, and I think he deserves some level of respect. But has Bekzat fought anybody that is on the level of Umar Nurmagomedov? And I don't think so. Umar is actually a really good bantamweight, and he has potential, and I kind of hate admitting that, but that's just who Umar is at this point. Like, he KO'd Raoni Barcelos, he outgrappled Nate Maness, he submitted Brian Kelleher, he submitted Sergey Morozov. Like, Umar Nurmagomedov is a good bantamweight, and has anybody that Bekzat Almakhan faced in his career so far, have they been on Umar Nurmagomedov's level? I don't really think so, and him coming in on short notice isn't always a good look. I think if you're going to beat Umar, you're going to need at least some training camp to help you out. So, even though Bekzat Almakhan, I think, is pretty decent, I think he'll do well in the UFC, even if he does lose to Umar, I don't see him beating Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm going by decision. I think he'll just outgrapple Bekzat for 3 rounds. He might submit him, I don't know, but I see a decision being more likely between that. But we move on up the card to Alex Perez versus Muhammad Mokaev. I want to show you guys Alex Perez's Tapology page real quick. I want y'all to see this shit. So this is Alex Perez's Tapology page. If you're not familiar with Tapology, it just has information about fighters and upcoming matchups, and you can submit your picks and shit like that. But let's scroll down real quick and just look at his recent wins and losses. Now, hold on, I'll move my webcam really quick. But all of this in the gray right here is all of the fights that he has pulled out of, or fighters have also pulled out of. So since 2020, we'll count from right here, from the Kai Kara France one. Since 2020, he has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fights that have been canceled since 2020. That is absolutely absurd. And his last fight was against Alexandre Pantoja back in 2022 of July. Let's move back to the big camera. That is stinky. That is not good, bro. And it seems like he just isn't really invested into MMA anymore. Like, this guy just doesn't fight at all. Whenever he does fight, he gets submitted. Mokaev is a bad matchup, in my opinion, for Perez. Anybody who grapples and goes for submissions, I think Perez will probably lose to at a flyweight. I know it's Pantoja. I know it's Figueiredo, 2 former flyweight champions. Guys who are really good, but it just seems like it's a bit too easy for him. Like, Pantoja just literally walked down Perez, didn't care about any shots coming his way, took his back, choked him out in the first round. Like, it felt very easy for Pantoja. Now, I don't think it will be as easy for Mokaev to beat Perez, but I still think he beats Perez by submission. Probably. Let's go with Muhammad Mokaev, 3rd round submission. He's gotten like, what, 2 in a row now? Mokaev, 3rd round submission. I think he beats Perez here. Perez is I don't know, man. Like, he's just checked out of MMA. But moving on to the co-main event, we have Vitor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro. Now, I was really like teetering on the line of picking Tyson Pedro here because I don't like Petrino that much. Tyson Pedro did lose to Modestas Bukauskas by gassing out pretty much after the first round, and Vitor Petrino KO'd Modestas. So it's like, if you compare wins, like, it's just But also, Tyson Pedro did dispatch of Anton Turcouch better than Vitor Petrino did. So it's kind of like, when you compare wins with these guys, one guy did better than this guy, one guy lost to this guy while this guy won against this guy. Like, it's kind of hard to really tell. So you have to really go by stylistically. And Tyson Pedro, I think stylistically, can beat Vitor Petrino. The only issue that I have with Pedro is, will he gas? And he might just gas against Vitor Petrino. I don't agree with the odds. I think it should be closer. I think Pedro's front kick will probably be money. And, you know, bro, screw it. We're going with Tyson Pedro. I think he wins by decision. I don't like how Vitor Petrino is more power punch based. Maybe Pedro can blast that front kick. Maybe he can keep him at range. And I think he can just overall pick at Petrino because Petrino hasn't fought anybody like Tyson Pedro. But then again, Vitor Petrino did beat Marcin Prachnio, so maybe he has fought somebody similar to Tyson Pedro. But I think Pedro was better at the kicking game than Marcin Prachnio. So I'm taking Tyson Pedro. He's a heavy underdog right now, or a moderate underdog. I think he might fix his cardio issue. I don't think Vitor Petrino will chin him at all. And I don't find Vitor Petrino's striking to be that impressive. But can he finish a gassed out Tyson Pedro? I do believe that, but I don't know. I feel like Tyson Pedro is a bad matchup for Petrino. But I might be wrong. I might get proven wrong here. I don't know. But moving on to the main event. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Shamil Gaziev. I was thinking about taking Shamil, but I was like, you know what? I'm taking Shamil Gaziev. I don't want to take Shamil Gaziev, but I'm going to take him here anyways. Rozenstruik just really scares me with his takedown defense, and when he does get taken down, he's a completely different fighter. Like, Gelton Almeida took him down. Curtis Blades took him down. Like, I just don't like Rozenstruik's takedown defense, and when he is on the ground, he's kind of just stuck there. And I don't think Shamil Gaziev is that good, if I'm being honest with you. But can he take down Rozenstruik? Yes, maybe if he goes for a takedown. I don't think he shot one against Martin Bidet and one against Greg Velasco. But if he wants to win this fight, he can win it by grappling. If Shamil Gaziev just stays on the feet versus Rozenstruik, there's going to be issues. I just think he'll shoot a takedown. I think he'll go for a takedown, double leg, single leg, whatever. Clinch, trip, get down Rozenstruik and beat him up on the ground, because Rozenstruik's ground game is not there, just not good. I might regret this pick, but I'm going to take Shamil Gaziev by first round, maybe second round, ground and pound against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I don't know. This could be a huge fraud check, honestly. Shamil Gaziev could go out there and just be completely ass like I think he is, but I just don't like how Jairzinho Rozenstruik fights against grapplers, you know? I feel like he kind of just gives up whenever he's on bottom position. And I think at any point, if Shamil Gaziev takes down Rozenstruik, I think he'll probably just lose. So yeah, I'm taking Shamil Gaziev by second round, ground and pound TKO from the full mount position, I guess. So that is my full card prediction and breakdown. I forgot to mention that I do have a Topology group. So if you want to join that and compete against me, compete against other people in that group with your picks, the link is in the description down below. Join the group. Other than that, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow at, 3 p.m. maybe. I will be live streaming the card, so come check me out. Enjoy the card with me if you want to. I'm out of here. Like, subscribe, bell icon for notifications. Peace. God damn it. This is, oh.